that's kind of where I wanted to start the segment, because I will tell you, and I'm going to shift right off of me onto since we're on this subject here, to the beautiful Eve Nasby over here.
With the crazy long eyelashes. I got to work those in. I'll come up with something.
We are so doubling your wages.
Yeah.
So in any case, thinking outside the box, I think that's something that your firm does quite well. So there's a number of companies, but the main one that we're talking about today is Amerit Consulting, right?
Yes, we are.
So tell us a little bit about Amerit Consulting. What do you do, and how do you do it?
So Amerit Consulting was formed in 2001 by a service-disabled veteran. Gary Herbold was twice awarded the Purple Heart for his bravery in Vietnam. I know. He was shot in the head and then in the leg. Almost lost his legs. Modern medicine was able to save that for him. He was a corpsman. So a hero in our eyes, and we obviously thank him for his service. So he started this company in 2001 as an IT consulting business and has morphed into the largest service-disabled veteran-owned staffing firm in America.
Wow.
So service-disabled. Tell us a little bit about how that works. I'm going to let you run with it instead of me trying to lead into this one.
She doesn't need any cues.
No, the handsome and successful Barry.
And blush.
And blush. No, so there's a lot of what's in it for me to hire a disabled vet-owned business. So the utilities, General Order 156 that was passed many years ago states that each utility has to spend a certain percentage with a disabled veteran-owned business. So that's easy. There's a lot of companies out there now that just know that it's the right thing to do. They want to support veteran-owned businesses, and there's a lot of them out there. So we are scalable. We've got over 3,000 people out working today, both veterans and non-veterans, and they work at over 130 different companies. And so a lot of Fortune 100 companies will leverage our services. And again, it's smart business. They can leverage that spend. They can report on that spend. And, of course, they get great service.
You know, it's interesting. I think over to one of the other folks that called in from Business Incentive Solutions. And, you know, when you have businesses that you're supporting with service-disabled veterans, that automatically, I'm almost positive, will qualify them for some of the tax incentives and government tax credits and government incentives. So, you know, that would be a wonderful thing, you know, when somebody goes out of their way to hire, we all have choices, okay? And choice to hire service-disabled vets is a great one. Why not take it out to them and give them some of those incentives and credits back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So a disabled veteran-owned business helps meet the diversity spend goals. Hiring a veteran helps you meet the diversity and inclusion goals within your organization. So it's two totally different silos. The veterans, you have to have 8% of your population within your organization be veterans if you work with the government. So that's diversity and inclusion. The other side of Amerit is, of course, we're owned by a veteran. So there's a double whammy. We can kill two birds with one stone. You can leverage our services and get that spend. You can also leverage our services and get those veterans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And, you know, there's more reasons than just it's great that you get to fulfill those diversity obligations and you get to give back to the community, but they're also just great employees and good business owners, right? Those are also some of the advantages.
You bet. There's an organization that's a nonprofit called the Disabled Veteran Business Owners Alliance, otherwise known as the Alliance, and it is dedicated to helping veteran-owned companies succeed. So, I mean, you've got a veteran who knows what he's doing. He's reliable. He's going to show up on time. He's a person of integrity, right? Who wouldn't want to work with a business owner like that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Maybe a definition of service-disabled vets is in order, and primarily that's a business owner who served in the military, honorably served, who received a disability regardless of the percentage of disability, from 0 to 100% disabled, where their medical condition either occurred, was caused by, or happened while in the military service.
And that doesn't have to be in combat,
they don't
right?
have
Or
to
in
be
wartime.
in combat. And there's many veteran-owned business owners out there who don't realize that they qualify to be a SDVOB, or service-disabled veteran-owned business, and that may give them opportunities in government procurement as but one example, both state and federal. And certification happens in the state, and national certification is strictly voluntary, except for Department of Veterans Affairs procurement. when you're bidding with Department of Veterans Affairs.
Urban,
So if you're a veteran right now and you have a disability and you go to Small Business Administration, the old Patriot loan now, you could go and get a loan, a business loan, and have that 3% loan origination that the SBA charges everybody else. You could have that waived.
That's
or
great.
franchises out there that have special programs under VetFran program. So it's quite wonderful for anybody out there who's a veteran that's either in business or planning on starting a business.
Well, let me just throw this out there at the same time. You know, I love what you guys are doing. You guys are just providing a service between Urban and Eve and Michael. You know, all your companies over there. You're doing wonderful services for people. If any of our listeners want to get more information or connect up with Eve or Urban or any of these companies, email me, Barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me take you by the hand over to this, help you out. This is what the show's all about, is supporting our community. So I appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah, the service is federal. It's a federal law signed in by President Clinton. Matter of fact, it was his last act while in office.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
1999.
That's fantastic.
So it's SB 10650. No, well, because I was in the late 1980s in the advocacy with this.
Yeah, interesting.
Me and Lopez, who, rest his soul, he's no longer with us.
And if you are interested in starting your own business, we can connect them with the Alliance, and it gets better. So the government has put in these stipulations where if you're bidding on a government contract and you're a disabled business owner, you get up to a 5% credit on that contract, which gives you an advantage over your competitors who are not veteran-owned.
This is great information, and there's a lot more that we need to connect up. Which is what this show's all about, is to help the community, help the small business community. So you're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD. Email me at Barry@closeupsandiego.com, or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris, and the now beautiful Eve Nasby. Sorry, I just had to do that.
Hosted by the handsome and successful Barry Waxler.
I think I'm going to get my own radio show. And I already have two ladies going to be on it. Barry, you're out of it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Urban and the girls.
I feel like
Urban and the girls. I love it.
That's it. I feel like I'm back in Philadelphia, where everybody has to have a name. It's
a nickname.
Tommy the Bat, Joe the Pipe. Actually, now we all have nicknames. So anyway,
serious question though, Urban and Eve. What are some of the disabilities? Because there's also, you say that not everybody knows that they can qualify for this, and maybe it's helpful to even give some examples of disabilities that people might not know they qualify.
Right, and thank you for asking that. A lot of disabilities happen later on in life. An example, diabetes. If you served in Vietnam, served on a specific base, or was flying a certain aircraft during the Vietnam era and after Vietnam, you may qualify for service connection for type 2 diabetes, as well as Lou Gehrig's disease, for not related to Vietnam. That's Gulf War veterans on up. It just goes Parkinson's disease, prostate cancer.
See, people think of disabilities for veterans strictly as something like losing a limb in battle.
Or they think it's only combat disabled,
right.
if you saw combat.
Right.
And it's not necessarily. As a matter of fact, of all disabled veterans, only about 10% ever saw combat.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that.
Yeah.
So it's quite a broad scope, but any veteran goes there, should check with your local VA. It doesn't hurt. I mean, you're used to hearing no anyway. There's a new VA out there. So if you went, I went 10 years or 20 years ago, and they said I didn't qualify, don't listen to that anymore.
Right.
So go back and try again.
Right, go back and try again, and then once you get that designated, then contact Eve at Amerit, right?
well, the history of veterans in business is a lot of the laws we have now are related to returning veterans with disabilities who couldn't find employment. And going back to World War I, with the hawking, vending, and peddling business, veterans are exempt from paying business license fees due to World War I veterans coming back and couldn't find work. And that's when that federal law came out, and I think 1918 or 1919. And it just goes on. A lot of the benefits that the disabled in general have is primarily due to disabled veterans returning from war.
Right. And for those of our listeners that aren't familiar with Urban's story, Urban is here because we want the best to talk to everyone about all the disabled vets out there and what have you. Urban's a disabled vet from Vietnam, blind via diabetes and Agent Orange, and a number of different challenges that he's overcome, and quite the incredible story there. So I wanted to throw that out. But before we get too far off point, Eve, tell us a little bit more about what your firm does, other than you do a lot more than work with disabled vets.
We do. So we're privileged to have, like I said, over 3,000 people out working today. So those are temporaries, project-based in IT, engineering, accounting, finance, administration, and human resources. So we are your typical staffing firm. Also do payrolling, IC compliance, and some PEO work as well. So we're from soup to nuts, anything you would possibly need in identifying top-tier talent anywhere in the U.S., and we're also in 7 countries.
Wow. That's a whole lot of stuff you got to be managing over there, Miss Eve.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. What are the top jobs right now? Because so many Americans think that there's just not jobs out there.
Oh, my goodness. It's totally changed. So we are now in an arena where there are lots of jobs out there, and we're identifying some great talent. There's lots of places to look. So what are the top jobs right now? I'd say IT, the hottest. Cybersecurity is top. That is the hottest commodity right now. If you've got a cybersecurity degree, or if you've got education around cybersecurity, you are a hot commodity.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I don't know anything about cybersecurity. So for me, it's like you get the little antivirus thing and you pop it on your computer, and that's the end of the story.
Think Target. Think insurance.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really hot right now. San Diego's a close-knit community, so we've got a lot of clients. Illumina is one of them. You were talking earlier about Illumina. There's a lot of great companies in San Diego, and the hiring here is a very close-knit community. We know who's going, so we know who needs to be replaced. Out of San Diego community, there's a lot of hiring pockets in various states.
Interesting. Interesting. So we are starting to run short on time for this segment of the show. Tell our listeners how they find out more about Amerit Consulting.
Sure. They can call 619-244-3000. That's my number. It's 619-244-3000. Or our website is www.ameritconsulting.com. That's www.ameritconsulting.com.
Great.
Awesome.
Great. Well, we're going to ask you to sit in on our final segment of the show, too, so I appreciate you being here on that, and we will be back shortly. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD, or just find us on Facebook. You can always email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think, and I am your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.